Aunt Lucy and the Ancient Seed Exchange. Dear Aunt Lucy, I'm beginning to suspect that the hardness of my exterior is proportional to the softness of my interior. Exhibit A, these calloused hands. Hands are an organism all their own, as I'm sure you know this above all else, and thank you for the memories, the movements, the functions, the calluses, the hard work, and the plants. I pay special attention to them, these fingers, crusty with the day, all, these fingers in the dirt, so that now they speak differently with hands that speak softly and tap on soft things and hold soft flesh and feel no fish hooks from a mean fighting weed hiding just below the soil surface or wrapped up in some hay like a shut secret. All this air in these lungs, these trees changing colors. What was it like for you, Aunt Lucy, the first time you saw autumn? The grand asphyxiation before dormancy, the great cut-off, the so long till later. The wild colors, your impending stomach punch for the winter. What was the first large animal you ate, and was there fire by then? Did the flesh ground you more to the soil and the wind and the leaves? Did the carcass smell like the wet, sweet decay of falling leaves, yet smoked? When did you discover the usefulness of the peppercorn for your belly in digesting the meat? I had salami the other day, groated and coated in ground pepper, and it made me think of you. The sapiens of today like to pretend that all of the discoveries previous to our consciousness were accidents of observation that later, through the Homo faber, became a controlled craft, starting with fire, of course, but later extending to paint, bread, wine, beer, the alchemy of all the small things. What's the smallest thing you carried, Aunt Lucy, before satchels, pocketbooks? I bet it was a seed lost in your back hair. I bet the seed found a way to its own coy scrounges and knew exactly when to detach from the massive follicles and vitamins and fell to the soil and waited peevishly for its first winter to pass. Was your son with you by that time? Did he toss the seed from your back, discarding it like an unsavory louse? What color was your skin under your hair? Did you think about that at all? We think about that a lot. How many winters did you live through before your melanin shifted in its factory of reception and absorption, reflection and deflection? How long had you missed the sun and the seed and the plant that grew all year, all the time, uninterrupted by the decay, the shorter days, the warm gold of the autumn sun, the cooling dirt? Which stars were you facing when the first fire burned? How old was your son that time? My hands paws over squash. I generously dunk a cloth in vinegar water and wash the squash. The sounds of their cleaning are so unique in the morning. It is as if the dew sings through the falling water, lavish and comforting, and the sting of the vinegar lives in my nose and cracks my hands into future dried grain. The dirt melts off the squash and slugs its way into the bucket with the falling water, and the sight and feeling of uncovering the gourd from its blanket of soil as it slumbered this past season brings dregs of gold and dragonflies into my atrium. I'm preparing them like my babies for someone's belly or refrigerator. I sing to them in my heart as I lay them in the trailer. They fill up my hands with their roundness, with their vicarious curves, and each one is so different. Each one such a delirious expression of their experience and circumstance out in that field and patch of grass and weed, hidden or lying like a sexy goddess on a piece of dried and cracked soil, far away from its withering mother vine. They fill my hands with their roundness and make my palms feel small and dirty. So unlike my hands, these squash children, I tap their noggins, I feel their sweetness soothe me under their skin. The trailer fills up with hundreds of them, gleaming, glowing. It drives away. I say goodbye. I miss them, but am so happy. Were you happy in the transition from warm to cool, in the season of juxtapositions and crossroads of abundance and decay, as the fruit squeezed the life juice from the last drops of nurturing sunlight? Were you happy as the seed nestled into the soil and tasted the wane of summer for the first time? Did you massage your hands after you washed your son like a big, awkward gourd for the first time? Did you kiss him on the nose as he smiled like a seed at the sun after a first long winter? Good night.